Hey guys, welcome back in another video. Today we're doing something new. And I'm going to react to these stuff. So here's the first one. Let me get my face.
This happened about 5 years ago when I was 21. Me and my friend Seth got into this app which showed you ghosts. We'd go out ghost hunting, but nothing much would happen. Sometimes a dot would appear on one of our phones and it would say random words. We would ask, "How did you die?" Stuff like that. And sometimes the answers lined up, but it was mostly random. One night, around 2 a.m., Seth suggested going to the cemetery to see if the app picked anything up. I was hesitant, but I nervously agreed. We started making our way through the neighborhood towards the cemetery. It was weird as the streets are normally lined with cars, but they were empty on this night. We walked down the middle of the road with the app running, but it wasn't picking anything up. We finally made it to the cemetery, which was a small, family-owned one where they only buried their own. Seth went up to the gate and started shouting, hoping to get a response on the app, but nothing happened. I was standing in the road, feeling unsettled, when Seth starts yelling, "Is that all you've got?" I told him to stop disrespecting the dead and we should leave. He tried being funny, saying, "Oh, I'll make them show up," and jumped the gate and started stomping on the graves while screaming, "Come on, show us something." All of a sudden, our phones said something at the same time. I looked down at my phone and it was there. We both just stood there, looking at each other when 10 or so red dots appeared on the radar, and it said it again. When I looked back up from my phone, Seth was next to me. I said, "We have got to go." As soon as I said that, we could hear the street lights turning off one by one from the top of the street, getting closer to us. We took off running as fast as we could. We got about halfway into the neighborhood before running out of breath and having to stop. I felt like I was going to throw up from being scared and winded. Then I heard my phone say something. It was muffled, but I knew what it said. Being too scared to look at my phone, I looked at Seth, who looked terrified. He nodded at me to get my phone out, so I slowly pulled it out, and it said my name across the top. I turned my phone off and said, "Screw this, I'm done." We made our way back to my house and had a cigarette to calm down. We were talking about what just happened, almost not believing it, when I heard my phone again. This time it was my sister's name. We just stood there, frozen, not saying a word, when it went off again and said my brother's name. I took my phone out, turned it on, and deleted the app. I asked Seth to stay the night, but he refused. I can't blame him. When I finally got to sleep that night, I dreamt a muffled voice repeating a word over and over. I started to wake up and the words became clearer. My phone was off, with the battery out. But when I turned it over, it was lit up with the app running. It had a red dot about 6 feet from me, still repeating. I woke up the next morning and went to the bathroom. I had a razor-thin cut from my left shoulder to my right hip. I don't know what happened that night, and nothing has happened to me since. Needless to say, I don't mess with that kind of stuff anymore. Thank you to XP Pen for sponsoring this video. This animation was made using the Artist 22E Pro. For more information,
I was like, why is a boy wearing a dress?
It turns out it was a mistake. We all knew what was going to happen. Excited for this one.
Jump scare. You ready for it, guys? Jump scare, jump scare. Get ready, guys. It's a jump scare. Jump scare. Watch him pop out. It's not scary.
What's your name?
Phoebe Buffet.
How do you spell that so we can get it right?
Oh, okay. It's P as in Phoebe, H as in Hebe, O as...
This is a short but terrifying story of something that happened when I was Snapchatting a friend. I'm pretty young, I'm only 13, still in middle school. A girl I really liked had just recently started snapping me selfie pictures, and we started messaging each other for a few nights. One night when I was watching TV, she sent me a snap of herself laying in her bed without a caption. I sent a message saying, "What's up?" She sent another identical picture, this time with a caption saying, "Not much, you?" She set the timer to 10 seconds, so it gave me plenty of time to analyze the picture, including her bedroom in the background, and the dark outline of a person standing by her window. I quickly sent a response message, saying, "Is that your brother by the window?" She sent another identical snap, this time captioned, "What do you mean?" In this picture, the figure at the window was closer, and I could see a hand pressed up against the glass. I closed the snap before the timer even ran out so I could tell her quicker. I said, "There's somebody at your window, turn around." She opened my snap almost immediately, and then I didn't hear from her again on the app. I grew more and more worried as the minutes passed. I texted her a few times to no avail. I tried calling her a few times to no avail as well. I didn't know her house phone number, otherwise I would have called her parents. It wasn't until midnight when I was already laying in bed that she finally texted me back. She explained the whole situation. As soon as she looked at her window and saw the person standing there, she screamed. And that caused the person, who turned out to be a 20-something-year-old man, to open the window and jump into the room. From there, she ran to her parents' room and woke her dad, who went to her room to find nothing but an open window. It wasn't exactly a personal story of mine, but it freaks me out nonetheless, knowing that the only thing that saved my friend from whatever could have happened was the fact that I was able to see the window through her selfies, unbeknownst to the creeper at her window.
For something that was very calming, it made me go to sleep. I wonder what this is.
Now say it 3 times.
Fort, fort, fort.
Spell it twice.
F-O-R-T, F-O-R-T.
Say it 2 more times.
Fort, fort.
Now what do you eat soup with?
Oh, fort.
Really?
Really?
Because I eat soup with
Oh, really? I eat soup with a spoon. Well, all of you are different. Don't judge them, please.
So this happened a few months ago. I'm 26. I was at JFK Airport in New York with 5 friends. All of us were about to fly down to Florida to spend the week in a beach house. We had a few more minutes to kill in the airport before we would board our flight, and I really had to go to the bathroom all of a sudden. I was baffled to see a line out the door for the bathroom. I noticed a janitor walking by, so I asked her if there was another bathroom nearby that wouldn't be so crowded. She laughed and told me she shouldn't really be telling people, but there was another bathroom past the door she was pointing at, down a narrow flight of stairs and to the left. I thanked her because she was extremely nice and followed the direction she gave me. Sure enough, behind that door that no one would think to open was a small stairway that led down to a really poorly lit, skinny hallway. It was so narrow that if 2 people were to pass by each other, one person would have to stand against the wall to make room. I found the bathroom right away. The door was extremely heavy and hard to push. Also, the lights were on inside of the bathroom, and it was filthy in there. It was evident that nobody ever really came in there to clean. Now, this is a little embarrassing to mention, but when I go to the bathroom in public places, I always try to make sure nobody else is around to possibly hear me going. So after checking the stall to see that it was unoccupied, I went back into the hallway for a second to take a look down both directions. To the left, there was somebody standing at the end of the hall, in a dark, unlit section of the hallway. It was a disturbing sight to say the least. All I could do was awkwardly pull my head back into the bathroom and try to pretend we didn't see each other. I went into the stall and just stood there biting my fingers for a minute, dreading the thought of that door opening. And of course, it did. I saw the man's black shoes under the stall door as he walked to the stall next to mine. He shut the door, and then there was silence. No sound of the man unzipping his fly or sitting down, nothing. I realized I didn't really have to go anymore, and went to unlock the stall door. That's when I looked up and saw the man's head peering over the stall, looking at me. I nearly had a heart attack as my screams bounced off the walls of the tiny bathroom. I ran back up those damn steps and out that door, and then casually walked back over to my friends. I was breathing heavily, but nobody seemed to notice. I didn't tell anyone just because it was embarrassing, and I didn't want my friends to make fun of me in any way. I know, I guess that seems stupid now. We went out to have our Florida vacation and all had a good time. Of course, the thought of that creepy man haunted me every night that week.
Guys, stop waving. What are you guys doing? Ew. Where's my dog? You're supposed to be taking care of her in her house here. Where is she? Doggy, where are you? Doggy.
Its name is Llama Arts.
There she is. Oh my goodness,
So,
why does she
it's a
smell like
scam.
that? Ew, you guys are supposed to be taking care of her, my little baby. Why does she look... I'm so caught up with myself that I don't usually
So I'm gonna watch,
leave. Buy this whole store. Wait a minute. Do I even have to pay since this is Daddy's
A quick victory song to celebrate a clean cut of plastic wrap. Reynolds Kitchens, this is the good stuff.
These are the ones that I think.
Is this a line? What is taking you guys so long? Oh, my goodness. This is crazy. You know what? I'm done with you. I don't have to be behind anyone. I own this store. My family does. I'm just gonna check out myself. Excuse me. You can't cut it. Get over it, people. It's my store. You'll win, okay? Okay, so we shouldn't even pay for it. Let's go. Oh my goodness, my card is back. My card is back. How did this happen? Why would they have the aisle right there? They should literally...
Why does he have such little stuff?
I guess I'm gonna have to find another card. It's a dude.
What the heck?
Come back. Why are you in here? Why are you wearing
has a tiny onion. I hope I watch something not scary so I can go to sleep more easier. So that when I have bad dreams. Because right now I'm I set myself in a jello for 24 hours. I'm stuck in a sleep.
What's up, dudes? It's Pat, and welcome back to another video. So, guys, we have a really weird story to tell you today. It's like a 1 in a billion chance it happens.
Happy video. Happy
I am
video.
not Poke. Somebody said that's not Poke. In the chat, somebody said.
See. Yeah, I need to send in. Aww, you're cute. You cute. Oh, beautiful. Look at that dolphin. I'm sure. Yes. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Yes. Okay, so I think that's it. Okay, now. Okay, I guess we can do. I'm saying goodbye, guys.